for them to tell us the truth about the risk they would cause to our frontline public services. On Wednesday, the Conservative leader had his shot at question time. Today was answer time, and now exposed as having no adequate answers to give, I say the Conservative policies are a real and present danger to our recovery and to our public services. I think the British people know you can't promise to cut the deficit, raise frontline public spending and cut taxes all at the same time. That is the something-for-nothing economics that the British people will see through. Our government has made a promise that as we cut the deficit and do not go along the Tory road of cutting the national insurance rise, there will be increased spending on our schools. Let us be clear, the Conservative Party refuses to match our plans for investing in schools. But I tell you, we will keep our promises to the parents of this country. And we, the Labour government, have made a promise that we will maintain the funding of our police. And Britain has the highest ever number of police officers in our country's history. The Conservative Party are refusing to match our promise of investment in policing. And while the Conservatives are putting the advances we have made in cutting crime and keeping you safe at risk, we will keep our promises on policing to the citizens of our country. Labour has made a promise that we will now give every patient in the National Health Service a personal guarantee that they will see a cancer specialist within 2 weeks, and in the coming Parliament they will have diagnosis within 1 week. And we have guaranteed that people will have access to a GP that is open in the evenings and at weekends. And I hope that the Scottish Parliament will achieve these health guarantees too. But while the Conservatives refuse to back our guarantees, we, Labour, will keep our promises to the patients of our country. I do not want to go back to the pre-1997 Britain, where school roofs were leaking, where many patients were waiting more than 2 years for their operations, and where police numbers were falling and crime was on the rise. And let me also say something about the immediate choice between us and the Conservative Party over what happens in the next few months to our economy. They have said that if they were in government in 2010, they would immediately cut billions of pounds out of the economy. They now have one of their advisers admitting that in 2010, jobs would be lost. We now have a Manchester University professor and specialist advisor to the Treasury Select Committee who says that for only £2 billion of their spending cuts, a small part of the spending cuts, thousands of jobs, perhaps 40,000 jobs would go. So just at the time when the government is ensuring that unemployment falls, a Conservative government would make unemployment rise and put the economic recovery at risk. So if they had their way and cut billions out of the economy, only 2 months from now, the progress we are making in getting people back to work would be turned in reverse. And is this not the same old Conservative Party, which even after the official end of the recession in the 1980s, let unemployment rise for 5 more years? And is this not the same old Conservative Party which even after the official end of the recession in the 1990s, let unemployment rise for another 3 years? I say if we want a recovery that lasts, with rising employment as we need for the people of this country, don't let the Conservatives wreck the recovery now. Today the Conservative Party is exposed as the party that, if in government, would raise unemployment in 2010, and the party that, if they were in government, would cut into our mainstream frontline services. It is increasingly clear that if you vote Conservative in May, you will be stung by July. The truth is that if the Conservative Party had really changed, they would have said unemployment is not a price worth paying. And if the Conservative Party had really changed, why do people not believe that our National Health Service, our policing and our schools are safe in their hands? So in the days to come, we will be talking about jobs. We'll be talking about jobs for the future. We'll be talking about our plans to secure economic growth. Even as we implement our tough deficit reduction plan to more than half the deficit in 4 years, we will never stop investing in the modern lifeblood of business and jobs: high-speed rail, digital infrastructure, the skills of the future, apprenticeships, advanced and green technology. And I want us as a country to emerge from this recovery with a new industrial economy, creating a new generation of jobs for the future. People will ask whether industrial policy isn't an outdated idea, and say perhaps we should leave it all to market forces on their own. But the answer is that each entrepreneur operates inside a wider economy, and support given to the foundation industries, the platform businesses on which other growth is built, can make a massive difference to business growth and to job creation across our country. And that's why we're targeting investment in manufacturing research to help UK companies develop the best-selling products of the future. And these capital allowances for manufacturing and businesses provide direct, targeted help to investment, while the blunt corporation tax cuts that the Conservative policy proposes would transfer resources from manufacturers and investors to banks and big financial institutions. I think people want to support investment in real engineering and not just financial engineering. And people will rightly ask us, why should government intervene in the digital economy? Why shouldn't we just leave it all to the market if the rewards are as obvious as we say? And the answer is, there are some investments that have such knock-on impacts on the rest of the economy that government needs to be involved to ensure they're of the needed scale and speed, and that nobody is left behind. And so it is us who are prepared to offer direct support, a total of £1 billion, so that every family and every business in Britain has access to high-speed broadband as we become a world-leading digital economy, creating thousands of jobs. And people will ask us, why do we not simply wait for the market to get to grips with climate change? And the answer is that the risks are too great, and the opportunities too many to simply leave this to chance. And that's why we have a plan that the Conservatives don't, to make Britain a world leader in a $4 trillion market for clean energy, goods and services, opening up the prospects of 400,000 new jobs for people in our country. Everything from the electric car to renewables like wind power. You know, for the last 30 years, the North Sea has been the world's centre for developing the technology for oil. In the next 30 years, it could also become the leading sector for offshore wind power. So we have an ambitious and progressive plan for national renewal and for the jobs of the future. It's a plan to rebuild our economy, to create in our times a prosperity that is both sustained and shared. It's a plan to create 1 million skilled jobs over the next 5 years. If we make the right choices now, we can forge a country that is more green, more digital, more high-tech, more skilled and more prosperous than we've been in the past. If we stay on the road to recovery without taking a risky right turn off, we can together build a country where all those who do their best and do their bit have a chance to get on in life and not simply get by. A country where we not only survive but succeed, and where we lead in this new globalised world.